Hello, I'm Justin Hall, college life coach within Advising First. As part of the Diversity and Inclusion Task Force, we created this video to highlight National Disability Employment Awareness Month. What is Disability Employment Awareness Month? It is an annual holiday celebrated during the month of October. We recognize people with disabilities who are employed and discuss why employment should be an essential part of the lives of people with disabilities. What's the history of this Awareness Month? Well, the effort to educate the public about the issues related to disability and employment began in 1945. The National Disability Employment Awareness Month was declared in 1988 by the United States Congress. In 1990, President Bush signed the Americans with Disabilities Act, guaranteeing access to and prohibits discrimination against individuals with physical or mental disabilities. And in 2000, President Clinton signed an executive order requesting for the federal government to hire 100,000 people with disabilities over the next 5 years. But before we get ahead of ourselves, let's back up and learn more about the ADA. The Americans with Disabilities Act, otherwise known as the ADA. What is the ADA? The ADA is a federal civil rights law that was passed in 1990 and went into effect beginning in 1992. Its purpose is to protect people with disabilities from discrimination in employment, in programs and activities offered by state and local governments, and in accessing the goods and services offered in places like stores, hotels, restaurants, football stadiums, and so on. And in this presentation, we will focus on Title I of the ADA, which prohibits discrimination in employment and requires employers to provide reasonable accommodations for qualified applicants and employees with disabilities. Who must comply with Title I of the ADA? Only covered entities must comply with Title I of the ADA. The term covered entities includes employers with 15 or more employees, employment agencies, labor organizations, and joint labor management committees. FSU is considered a covered entity for obvious reasons. We have more than 15 employees, plus we are known as a public entity. Who is protected by Title I of the ADA? Title I protects qualified individuals with disabilities. The term qualified means that the individual satisfies the skill, experience, education, and other job-related requirements of the position sought or held and can perform the primary job tasks of the position with or without reasonable accommodation. What is a reasonable accommodation? It's a modification or adjustment to a job, the work environment, or the way things usually are done that enables a qualified individual with a disability to enjoy an equal employment opportunity. And as far as an equal employment opportunity is concerned, that's talking about the opportunity to attain the same level of performance or to enjoy equal benefits and privileges of employment as are available to an average similarly situated employee without a disability. Have questions? Visit HR's website at hr.fsu.edu. From there, select the far right tab labeled Sections. Then go down and select Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion. On this page, you will learn what the Florida State University's Office of Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion is responsible for. And if you have more questions concerning FSU and the ADA, or you simply want to learn more, contact HR directly at 850-645-6519, or use extension 56519 if you're using your work phone. There are resources available outside of FSU. One of them is the ABLE Trust. The ABLE Trust, also known as the Florida Endowment Foundation for Vocational Rehabilitation, is a 501c3 public charity established by the Florida legislature in 1990 as a direct support organization for the Florida Division of Vocational Rehabilitation. Its mission is to be a key leader in providing Floridians with disabilities opportunities for successful employment. Since its establishment, the ABLE Trust has worked with community organizations throughout the state to help thousands of Floridians with disabilities of all ages enter the workforce. The ABLE Trust also has youth programs that provide career development and transition to many students with disabilities annually, helping to reduce the dropout rate and prepare young adults for life beyond high school. Overall, this organization supports on-the-job coaching, supported employment, job skills training, job development, outreach, ADA facility compliance, skills evaluation, and much more. In order to contact the ABLE Trust, you can either email them at info@abletrust.org, call them at 850-224-4493, or visit this contact page at www.abletrust.org/contact. And now, let's move on to FSU's resource for students.
A great resource for FSU students with disabilities is the Office of Accessibility Services, also known as OAS. The Office of Accessibility Services is committed to ensuring universal access for each Florida State University student. Their main goal is to create environments of success for FSU students through providing provisions and accommodations for academics, housing and dining, providing testing support, and providing assistive technologies. Their mission is to collaborate with and empower Florida State University students to create an accessible and inclusive environment by identifying, minimizing, and where possible, eliminating barriers to equal access while encouraging equal participation for students with disabilities. The Office of Accessibility Services offers a lot of resources, and here's just a quick screenshot of some of the resources they offer for students. You can learn more about their resources by visiting their website at dsst.fsu.edu/OAS/students. If you would like to get in contact with OAS or have some questions, you can do so via phone or via email. To gain a little bit more insight about the services available for students through OAS, our very own Katie Burdoff had the chance to sit down with Marshawn Jackson and Natalie Jones, two OAS specialists, for more information and resources available, as well as some tips for faculty and staff members who may work with students with disabilities.
So we'll get started. Thank you again for meeting with me today. If you wouldn't mind just introducing yourselves, saying what your position is, and yeah, just either one can start.
Okay. Well, I'm Marshawn Jackson. I'm accessibility specialist here in the Office of Accessibility Services.
And I'm Natalie Jones, and I'm also an accessibility specialist at the OAS.
Awesome. Thank you guys for joining me today and being willing to give some information about OAS, and we'll kind of go from here. I'm going to get my questions. So the first question I'd like to start with is who can utilize services through the OAS, and how does a student start utilizing services?
Okay. So our office has been designed to provide services for students with disabilities. So any student that feels they may have a disability, if they go and get diagnosed with a disability, they will come to our office after submitting an application and submitting that documentation. They will get set up with an appointment to meet with either myself or Natalie to get registered for services. And at that point, any resources we have available in our office is available to those students that get registered with our office.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
What services and accommodations do you have available, and what are provided through OAS? And Are there available accommodations for online learners, especially this semester? A lot of classes being offered in a remote type of way.
Yeah, so with online learning, I would definitely say probably testing is a big one. So we get students who have extra time on exams, 50% additional time is typically what is approved. And then students with special accommodations, like maybe paper-based exams, because due to their disability, they can't take it on the computer. They can come to our office to take it in our testing center. Note-taking could be popular for the online synchronous courses. If the classes are recorded and uploaded to Canvas, students should automatically have access to transcripts. And that kind of substitutes for the note-taking accommodation, being able to watch the video over again and have access to the transcripts. Note-taking, alternative testing. During normal semesters, anyone can test in our office if they have services with us to get alternative testing. And students with certain episodic or students who have disabilities where they have a flare-up, they can sometimes get like an attendance accommodation because sometimes they physically cannot make it to class. So that's one that can be a big one. And then sometimes extensions on assignments, if they again have that flare-up, or sometimes they have to spend a few days in the hospital and aren't able to get to assignments. And as far as other resources, we do a lot of referrals to ACE for tutoring, for the personal academic consultants. We do referrals to the counseling center on campus, the psychology clinic on campus, the Center for Couple and Family Therapy, all different resources to get counseling if needed. And then we have the Division of Blind Services. During normal semesters, they actually come to our office once a week, and so does Voc Rehab. So those are some other resources where students can kind of figure out what services they need maybe outside of accommodations.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah, yeah.
How many students do you typically serve each semester?
Oh, wow. Each semester, we are serving, I would say, roughly around, I'm gonna say 12 to 1,500 per semester of actively registered students who are currently taking courses. Of course, our office has a few thousand students registered, but on a semesterly basis, we're roughly between that 12 and 1,500. Seems like a lot, but when you have multiple individuals working with it, it's not too bad. But yeah.
Cool. That's awesome. That's awesome. Where is your office located, and what are your hours, as well as are you doing in-person walk-ins, appointments, or is it all virtual this semester?
So we're located in the Student Services Building, which is connected to Traditions Garage right beside the Den. Our hours are 8 to 5, Monday through Friday. Our testing centers, I believe, open 9 to 4 right now. So limited hours for them right now. And we are doing everything virtually right now. So just virtual walk-in or virtual meetings. Even if a student comes into the office, we can set them up in kind of one of our individual study rooms and get a webcam for them, and we would still meet with them virtually. And then, yes, we have walk-in hours too. So right now, since it's just me and Marshawn, Marshawn has office hours on Monday, and then I have them on Tuesday. And then hopefully we have another accessibility specialist soon to have one more day of those. And it's typically, is it 9 to 11?
Yeah, it's typically 9 to 11. Yeah.
And then again in the afternoon from 3 to 5.
Yes.
Awesome. So those are all the walk-in virtual hours. Gotcha.
Yes, that is correct. Yeah.
Gotcha. Cool. Cool. Is there any kind of referral process for students? Like if a staff or faculty member felt as though a student could utilize services, is there any sort of referral process that you guys typically use?
Well, specifically, I say for faculty, if they feel that there's a student that really that has an issue. They may not know specifically, but they see this particular student is just struggling and they could possibly have something going on that they may not be aware of. Most professors they'll refer the student here directly to our office. In some cases, the professor will contact us and just kind of explain the situation of that student, and they'll get that student. We'll get that student over here. And that's typically, for the most part, overall, that's how it typically works. But as far as I would say as staff goes, as Natalie said, we have a referral process with referring many of our students out. We've built a strong relationship with our campus partners. So, with the wellness center, with the counseling center, campus rec, we've really built a strong relationship with our campus partners to be able to refer students there and for them to be able to refer students out to us. So.
Awesome. And so the last question that I do have is, what is some advice or recommendations that you would give to faculty or staff that are supporting the students that you all are working with through the OAS?
I think we would tell them that we're a team. So it's us, the faculty member, and the student, and it's kind of like a triad. We all just want to work together for what's best for the student, and what their accommodations are based on the ADA, just making sure that they're being implemented and things like that. And we're always here. If they have an accommodation that they've never heard of before, they're not sure how to implement it, we're always here to kind of brainstorm and figure out what the best route will be for the student and the faculty member.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for taking the time out to meet with me today. And I really appreciate it. If anyone has any questions, is there a way to contact you? Do you have contact information? Is it up on the website?
Yes. Yeah. So all our contact information is on our website. Like I said, Natalie and myself, we are in the office a few days a week. So the best way to get a hold of us is email.
Okay.
That's a little more consistent way of communicating with us. If you have any questions, concerns, or anything.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much.
All right. Yeah, no problem
Thank
at
you for
all.
having us.
Thank you.